Just underway at the Emirates, Pat Nevin and John Murray.
Yes, the final strains of North London Forever have just drifted away out of the Emirates Stadium into the cold, dark skies above. The match is underway. Arsenal, red shirts, white sleeves, with the white shorts and the red socks. Arsenal fresh from their victory here in the North London derby on Wednesday night, and fresh is the word this afternoon. It is a cold afternoon, and today, well, they might have thought that they were going to close in on Liverpool, Pat Nevin, but those two late Darwin Núñez goals have changed everything, and they've got to win this just to maintain the position that they had this morning in second place behind Liverpool against in-form Aston Villa.
I think it has had a little effect in the atmosphere right at the start. Not buzzing quite as much as it was the other night, however, just need a little chance or two and this place will be alive.
I'll run you through the teams in full in a moment or two, but Aston Villa on the back foot just now. They're wearing their all navy blue kit with the white numbers and the thin white pinstripe hoops. They are defending the clock stand in the first half, and it's Arsenal on the attack, and the ball on the left hand side with Trossard, who started on the left hand side, and he crosses it straight into the defender. Matty Cash bounces behind, first corner to Arsenal, and if you know anything about Arsenal Football Club, you know what the potential of corners is for them.
Absolutely, and even though Saliba isn't here, they have got Gabriel, and he's not bad at attacking them, and indeed Havertz as well. Still dangerous, not quite the level he's been recently, but you know, he's quite capable of scoring goals, and he is a big presence there.
Yes, the latest figure is 26 goals from corners for Arsenal in the Premier League since the start of last season, which is 10 more than the next best. But as Pat says, no Saliba, but the danger man Gabriel is there, and they've all gathered around the Arsenal players at the back post in a little huddle together, 5 of them, and actually Gabriel then moves away into a more central position. There's a lot of movement. Havertz as well. In it comes from Rice towards the back post. It's headed back across the 6-yard box, but to comparative safety it bounces in front of Cash, and he's able to volley it away into the centre circle. Ball bounces for David Raya, who will hike it right-footed forward down the left-hand side. That is beautifully taken down by Rice. That was almost up with our eye level, and we're at the top of the main stand. Rice has crossed to the back post. Martinez makes a good save. He was coming right back across his goal line, and the stretch and the volley from Martinelli was back across Martinez, but he was able to go down to his right and cling on.
Well, that was so un-Arsenal of old. A smash out from the goalkeeper, although it turned into a brilliant pass. The take from Rich was world class, but his ball into the back post, almost impossible to deal with. And remember, Rice had also had a great corner kick into that back post as well. I have to say, the other night against Spurs, I thought he was off the scale. Brilliant, Rice. Well, he started in the same vein tonight.
Yes, Martin Odegaard in today's match programme says that he felt in the first half they completely dominated every aspect of the game against Tottenham. He said we got what we deserved, played some brilliant football at times, and overall the performance was great. But when you're chasing Liverpool, who've scored those 2 late goals, as you might have heard, our earlier commentary was on the Premier League leaders over at Brentford in West London. Now we've switched our attention to the north of the capital, and Arsenal have to win to maintain their second place. Currently 7 points behind Liverpool after their win at Brentford. I will run you through those teams in full. We've mentioned the fact that there's no Saliba. Sterling's back on the substitutes bench. So Marino and Martinelli have come in for Arsenal, who have Raya in goal, Partey, Timber, Gabriel and young Lewis Skelly. Then Marino and Odegaard and Rice in midfield. Trossard and Martinelli. Martinelli started on the right hand side in Havertz, and here's one for Martinelli to chase, but Emiliano Martinez, the former Arsenal goalkeeper, is able to come out and claim it, having already made 1 save in the match. So Martinez in goal for Villa. Cash, Konsa, Mings and Maatsen coming in for Digne. Then Kamara, Onana and Tielemans, Rodgers, Jacob Ramsey and Ollie Watkins. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live as a free kick is conceded for a tug on Lewis Skelly on the halfway line. Free kick to Arsenal. Rice plays it out there to the left hand side, where Arsenal can get moving again. It's played by Havertz, back the left. Here's the cross, but it's over everyone inside the penalty area. However, Odegaard is going to get there, plays it back to Partey. and then a ball from Rice to the right-hand side to Odegaard. Rice drives it into the near post, and actually Mings flings himself at the ball and heads it wide of the near post for another corner.
You sometimes ask yourself, how many Declan Rices are there on the field at one time? Left winger, inside forward there. He's covering for his full-backs when they fly away. He's everywhere, and he's been the most important player in the game so far. However, he's not taking this corner. It's from the right-hand side, so it'll be Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard to take this one. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that many years ago we used to say about Brian Robson, wasn't it?
Yeah, we actually mentioned he was noted the other night when we were watching his play. You almost cannot mention that type of play without remembering somebody who was that brilliant in that specific role of everywhere.
Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. Odegaard to take this, left-footed into the near post, dangerous. That was well dealt with by Villa. That was some clearance by Mings as well. That near post header to get it away for the previous corner. Odegaard now moving in from the left-hand side. He also talked about his own form, Odegaard, saying how he still feels he's not at his best, but he said he is getting there, and he has created chances, as he did the other evening, as you know, Pat. Odegaard then back centrally to Lewis Skelly, who's wriggling away. He's got bags of confidence, hasn't he, after his performance the other evening. And then Timber down the right hand side. Martinelli on the chase near the corner flag, actually stops the ball and then comes in field. He's up against Maatsen, and then back to Odegaard left-footed ball in towards the back post. It didn't get the contact on that he wanted. Cash was easily able to head it away on the edge of the box. Villa are under pressure here. Remember last season Villa won 2-0 here, and that caused serious problems to Arsenal's efforts to win the title last season. Martinelli now down the right hand side, but Maatsen gets his foot in and blocks it behind. Another Arsenal corner, already number 3. So just before Arsenal take that, how have things started in the Scottish Cup at Celtic Park with you, Gavin Wallace?
A couple of minutes in, John, 0-0. Kilmarnock had to make a quick change there. There was Kuhn was through with McCrory. He came out, raced off his line and took a real sore one from the German. He's went off with concussion. Kieran O'Hara is now in goals for Kilmarnock. It's 0-0.
Also 5:30 start in the Women's Super League. It is Everton 0, Aston Villa 0. So the men and the women in action. And the men here at the Emirates with a kind of haze, isn't there? There's a kind of haze hanging under the...
I think that may have been from the fireworks before.
Quite possibly is, Pat. Yes, the pyrotechnics. And what were described as liquid flame units on the official bump. Odegaard to take this corner, deep one to the back post, an important header. It's Konza this time for Villa. They've defended them well so far.
They have done, but they're under such pressure. How's your neck just now? Because at no point have we looked to our left-hand side in this game. You know, just they cannot get the ball, they can't get control of the ball, Aston Villa, and they certainly, rarely, if ever, have managed to go over the halfway line in these first 8.5 minutes.
In the Champions Cup Rugby Union, 5:30 kick-off, Leinster 0, Bath 7 is an early score. Yes, very much eyes right here, looking at the 3 tiers at the clock end of the Emirates Stadium, with that huge white clock face high above the action as Rice plays this in. It's a deep one to the back post, which is headed across. Martinez is down, and then Partey with the chance. I mean, it was a crowded 6-yard box. Whether the whistle has gone for a foul, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it has. Havertz is on the ground. Martinez was on the ground at one stage, the goalkeeper, and I think referee Chris Kavanagh must have given that as a free kick.
Yeah, I think he has given it, but we'll have a look at it, because Havertz, I think, is more fouled by the keeper, by Martinez, than the other way around. Now, you don't get away with it, but then Havertz has got a wee bit of his arm too, so he won't get a penalty from it. But I'll tell you what, Havertz has gone down there as if to say, you've got to have a look at this. You'd be expecting the VAR to have a look, but it's not that clear and obvious, because Havertz had a bit of a hold of him. But Martinez taking a chance there.
Precisely, Pat. There's no pulling the wool over your eyes. You know what Havertz is at. And
he's been a wee bit disappointing in the last couple of weeks, because he's frustrated and going down a little bit easily a couple of times. It's that's frustrating, because he's an extraordinarily talented player. Well,
he benefited last weekend, didn't he, on the Sunday in the FA Cup, because there was no VAR, despite the fact that it was sitting here in the stadium. But for consistency's sake, wasn't used for the FA Cup.
A wee bit frustrating, but strange. I do understand that you want to give everyone the same rules.
Well, anyway, that was a discussion for last weekend. We have got VAR today.
I say understand. Didn't agree necessarily, but understood.
Yeah, Havertz is in an offside position through the middle. Still, it seems many of the people don't want VAR, so it will have kept them happy. Here's the ball with Villa on the edge of their own penalty area, playing it back to Martinez, and Martinez already being booed. It was a stuttering career that he had at Arsenal, many loan moves, and actually played for Arsenal only 38 times. Won the FA Cup with Mikel Arteta late on in that career. But since then he's gone absolutely from strength to strength, and the reaction of the crowd tells you how his reputation is right now. He very much enjoys the public enemy number one role. A rare Villa attack, but the crossfield pass from Ramsey bounces out of play via a deflection, so to throw into Villa 10 yards back from the corner flag on the right hand side. Matty Cash to take this as Villa mount what is virtually their first piece of pressure on the Arsenal goal at the North Bank end of the stadium. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0 if you just switched on. Here's the throw from Cash, attempted flick on by Mings. That's headed away by Marino for Arsenal. Comes out now to Tielemans, who turns under pressure from his fellow number 8 and therefore plays it back to Martinez. Long from the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Thomas Partey is underneath that one. The previous match, by the way, the only previous match that Saliba didn't start in the Premier League this season was the 2-2 draw here with Liverpool, if you remember, when he was suspended after his sending off at Bournemouth. What a day for Bournemouth. Having mentioned their name, their supporters might be on the way back from St James's Park. Here's Maatsen on the left hand side. Maatsen's cross, that's dangerous, it's headed down, it's headed straight to Ramsey on the left. Ramsey pulls it back out of the penalty area to Cash trying to get it back onto his left foot. He did have Kamara available, but instead went back towards the halfway line. Now Tyrone Mings, great to see him back, getting a run in the team after his horrible injury last season. Ball bounces back to Maatsen, chance, shot and saved by Raya on his left foot. Quick footwork from Maatsen, but shot more or less straight at the Arsenal goalkeeper. Still 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming from the left full-back position, but doesn't look like a winger in those position, doesn't he? He goes inside, he drops his shoulder, gets himself in a great position, and all you do is get it on target with a bit of power, and they managed to do that. So, you know, they managed to soak up a bit of pressure at the start of the game, Aston Villa, but beginning to break out with a little bit of pace now.
And in the Champions League Rugby Union, very good start from Bath. It's now Leinster 0, Bath 14. A little later on Sports Extra we will have commentary on the Harlequins Glasgow match, which is on Sports Extra from 7:55, so listen out for that later. So Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. As I say, if you've just got back into your car, if you've been out of match or whatever you've been doing on this Saturday afternoon, we'll round everything up for you. And of course the BBC Sport website and out the football pages for all of the scores and the details. But Liverpool winning with 2 late goals in added time from Darwin Núñez, 90+1 and 90+3 the timing of the goals. So Liverpool 50 points now, Arsenal currently on 43, and then Nottingham Forest still in third on 41 points. Forest at home to Southampton tomorrow after Newcastle's home defeat to Bournemouth. But we'll round everything up for you again at half-time. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0, and indeed we'll hear more interviews as well. But Arsenal in possession on the halfway line. That defeat here to Villa last season remains their last defeat here on their home ground in the Premier League. Yes, they lost to Newcastle in the last couple of weeks, and yes, they lost that penalty shootout last weekend, but the last league defeat was in April here. Arsenal taking the throw down the right hand side, comes back to Partey, going to go back to Glasgow in a moment, but Arsenal mounting an attack, played crossfield by Marino. Here is the teenager Lewis Skelly, goes back to Gabriel, just forward of the centre circle. Gabriel looking to Trossard out there on the left hand side. That's where the ball goes. In comes the cross into the penalty area. Konza's underneath that to head it away, headed further away by Ollie Watkins, but Arsenal retake possession and go back towards the halfway line. So come in again, Gavin Wallace.
Yes, Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0. Kilmarnock, by the way, John, had just rattled it off the crossbar with Fraser Murray. A couple of minutes later, though, Cameron Carter-Vickers slides in Callum McGregor. 25 out, he puts it beyond O'Hara. Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
1-0 in Glasgow, still 0-0 here in London. and Arsenal with Trossard on the left-hand side, up against Cash. Actually comes inside on his right foot, crosses it. Conce's able to head that one away. There's this almost constant pressure by Arsenal in these opening 15 minutes. 5:45, it says on the clock, high above where Martinez is able to clear it right-footed. Tielemans is able to get the ball back for Aston Villa, plays it infield towards Camara, and now back to Tielemans on the right-hand side. A flick, back heel flick from him back to Camara. And Aston Villa here with the ball, with possession, might feel they can try and settle into the game.
Well, they settled a little bit. I mean, if they're under a bit of pressure, it's not a disaster for them, because there are a number of teams in the Premier League that don't mind that. They want to play in the break. They want the space to move into. Anyone who watched Bournemouth play today saw how brilliantly they did that. And the fact that when Aston Villa have the ball, they get it. They are a 4-2-4. They have got 4 players well up the park, and as they break just now, exactly that's happening.
Yes, they break with Onana, who takes it strongly, tall and leggy he is, to the halfway line. Then Maatsen running at Timber, who's able to block it out of play, and the ball, that yellow high-vis ball, just trundles over the white line, and it's a throw-in to Villa, level with the edge of the box. Maatsen starting, Digne on the substitutes bench for this one, as is Donyell Malen as well, like Maatsen, an arrival from Borussia Dortmund. They've signed him for round about £20 million, the Dutch international, Donyell Malen, who we might see for his debut. As well as on the substitutes bench for Villa today, I noticed, Pat, 2 goalkeepers are unnamed by Unai Emery. As Arsenal come forward, Odegaard middle of the half to Havertz. Havertz strokes a pass, left-footed to Trossard, left corner of the box, right foot shot, and Martinez diving to his left, got a good sight on it, and was able to palm it away with the angle out into the full-back position, and then stands up, sort of flexes his muscles, and his gesture said to me that he was saying to his Villa defenders, come on.
Yeah.
How did he get a shot?
Well, he got a shot, and it looked to me as if it might have kind of moved strangely in the air, so it might have taken a little bit of deflection as well, but yeah, an easy save for him. There's a chance.
Yes, Watkins at the other end, but Gabriel's able to come in and put the challenge in, and actually the contact on it, Raya, sprinting out of his 6-yard box to his right, was able to stop it from going behind for a potential corner. But that was a chance for Watkins through the middle. Ollie Watkins with his 9 goals this season. John Duran is still the top scorer in all competitions with 12. He's among the substitutes again. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. And
I don't like the way it's balanced though, John. Really like it. Yeah, Arsenal have got a lot more of the ball, but Villa know that. They're comfortable with that, and they're really willing to break with it. We talk about the 4-4-2, but it's more than that, because when Maatsen attacks, he's nominally the left back, but he's flying past Jacob Ramsey in the left-hand side though, so they break with big numbers, with pace.
So it is Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0, and Villa, as I say, coming into this having won their last 3. It's actually 4 matches unbeaten. The wins against Leicester 2-1 at home, West Ham also in the FA Cup on the Friday night, and then in midweek winning 1-0 at David Moyes' Everton. Arsenal with Trossard, who lifts it high and forward from out on the left-hand side, but Mings was able to head it away, beat Havertz to it, and now Ezri Konsa will just tap it to his left to Tyrone Mings. Forward from him to Camara, who's dropped deep. He has Onana just to his right, and Onana points him, Camara, and says, come on, you keep going. So he continues to bring the ball forward and passes it through the middle to Tielemans. Tielemans trying to curl it over the top of the Arsenal defence for the run of Watkins, but Gabriel was able to get up and head that. And now Arsenal look to break quickly. Martinelli on the right flank, up against Maatsen, and there wasn't too much contact from Maatsen, but he put his arm on the shoulder or the upper body of Martinelli, who went down, and referee Cavanagh pulled out the yellow card for Maatsen.
It's a bit harsh, you think, but you're not allowed to drag a player back, and if there was enough to drag him back, he was behind, and his arm's on his shoulder, he's dragged him back. Maatsen really can't complain too much about that. You take so much of a chance. He's actually not pulling his shirt, he's got his hand on his shoulder, but that's, the referee thinks, far too much. And again, if Maatsen let him go and wasn't going to get back, well, he has to accept that. And if you're a winger, first thing you want is for your full-back to get a yellow card so he can't tackle you.
Yeah, the Villa left back, Maatsen, booked in the 20th minute, and he's got Martinelli potentially flying at him. Martinelli returning to the team, one of the two changes that Mikel Arteta made. So it's Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0, and Arsenal have got this free kick on the right hand side. They've already weathered a battery of early Arsenal corners, but this free kick is actually taken short between Rice and Odegaard, and then Rice pulls it back to Timber, who's 30 yards out, and then to his right to Odegaard. Odegaard's high ball, left footed towards the back post. Gabriel, I think he was in two minds there, possibly three minds, and in the end tried to volley it across and missed it.
He completely misjudged the flight, didn't he? I mean, normally he's so good at that, he attacks everything in the back post most of the time, but I think he went and thought, I'm going to head that, and then realised, actually I can't, so I need to change my feet. And as you say, by the time they'd made a third decision, the ball had just rolled out of play.
So it is still 0-0, and it's a goal kick to Aston Villa. Odegaard, who I would say is indeed increasingly influential over the course of recent games, created 14 chances in the last two matches alone. And Arsenal's difficulty, as you will well know, is converting them, as there's a foul on Lewis Skelly in the centre circle. Morgan Rogers sort of doing more or less what Maatsen was doing on Martinelli, but this was in a more congested central area.
And he wasn't running away towards somewhere we could get a tackle in. Interesting to see what Lewis Skelly's doing. I mean, he's very, very young, but he's starting at left back, but then does what a lot of those full-backs do. He inverts into the centre and tries to kill the space that Tielemans is trying to utilise at the moment.
Arsenal take the free kick short. Declan Rice, who's been watched by Thomas Tuchel today, the England head coach, is here inside the Emirates Stadium. The television cameras have already picked him out as Arsenal are able to press Villa right back down into the left back area. Clearance from Maatsen comes out to Partey. First time ball from Partey to Martinelli in the box. Martinelli wriggling with it, takes it away from Maatsen. Ramsey's there as well. Martinelli does get the cross into the back post. Rogers chests it down in his own box, and then very dangerously, very daringly takes it and passes it forward to Tielemans, who then couldn't find the long pass to set through Watkins.
He was very calm there, was he not? You know, the ball's in an area where he doesn't know what's behind him, but he still chests it down, trusting his own ability, and within two passes, instead of lumping it, he's passed it out, and Watkins nearly gets a chance because of it.
Arsenal again, it's still 0-0, and it's been all Arsenal really in this opening part of the match. Aston Villa, who did the double over Arsenal last season, beat them at Villa Park, beat them here in April, but Arsenal won 2-0 at Villa Park earlier on in this campaign, as this latest Arsenal attack comes to nothing, just bounces harmlessly through for a goal kick. Pat Nevin alongside me, former Scotland international, Everton and Chelsea winger as well, and Arsenal in the groove.
Yeah, I mean, without creating a huge amount of chances there.
Oh, that's given away by Ramsey on the edge of his own penalty area. Partey to Odegaard. Odegaard trying to find a way through, and then played through the pass, which obviously must have taken a deflection, because Martinez, the goalkeeper, was scrambling across to make sure it didn't go over the white line, and he succeeded. Yeah,
good diving save to stop the corner kick, which is always worthwhile when you're playing against Arsenal, because how dangerous they are there. But yeah, quite intriguing. I don't think Aston Villa will be too disappointed now. There's been a couple of half chances where particularly Ollie Watkins nearly gets through against the two centre backs. Now he's trying to play as much on Timber as he can. As I say that, another Arsenal player down, rolling around.
Free kick for the challenge on Merino, who was caught as he was trying to pass the ball. This is just still inside his own half, 5 or 6 yards inside his own half when the challenge came in. It's a free kick that is given for that. Cash was a little late there, you know.
I think Cash might have actually got the ball, which has slightly saved him. But the follow through, no, he actually hasn't got the ball there. It's just a follow through. He's not kicked him. It's his body's came across his body. It's a foul, nothing more than that.
Free kick taken by Arsenal. Goalless in the early stages here. Cash puts in the challenge on Trossard to tackle it out of play for a throw into Arsenal halfway inside the Villa half. Ollie Watkins did score one of the two goals last season, but since then it is 13 Premier League matches unbeaten for Arsenal here inside the Emirates Stadium. But because of Liverpool's win, the pressure is all too obvious. Arsenal have to win. Camera to continue their pressure on Liverpool, such as it is at the top of the Premier League table. Ball in the Villa right back position, but Arsenal are able to smuggle it away and then play it back centrally. Now here's Odegaard on the right hand side. Unai Emery not far away from him, pointing his finger. Martinelli down the right with the cross, but Martinez is able to come and catch it. The Villa goalkeeper and just make that little dart towards the edge of the box, but then buy a little time, I think, for his team.
And buy a little time in the spotlight. He loves that, doesn't he? As soon as he gets a chance, he holds it. He knows he's holding everyone's attention. Well, he's holding the ball, but he's actually played well. He's not made any mistakes at all tonight.
A flick from Odegaard. Marino, then to Havertz. Odegaard again. Back to Havertz on the right flank, approaching the penalty area. Martin Odegaard, definitely looking the brightest of the Arsenal sparks, the captain. Odegaard again, blonde hair bobbing as he turns infield, then goes back outfield. Uses Partey, who's almost got his heels on the white line on the right hand side. And then Declan Rice with a touch. Martinelli is here, black gloves on, long white sleeves. Gabriel in the centre circle, plays it to his left to Lewis Skelly. Now he rolls a pass out there to the left hand side to Trossard. Marino is there, comes back infield towards Lewis Skelly, 25 yards out. He goes further away and back to Rice. Rice curls one over the top. Martinelli's first time ball across actually hit it straight into Maatsen, who was able, a little fortunately, to control it with the touch that he had, and then he found the ball at his feet and just cleared it away.
Well, that was a great opportunity. He's got to get it between the fullback and the goalkeeper there with a little bit of pace. Yes, it's on the volley, but top professional football, he should be able to do that. I thought that was a brilliant move by Arsenal. Probably about 20 or 30 passes eventually should have been shot across the goal. Just the last moment, that last pass, always the hardest pass, the one that's letting them down. And in moments like that, you think, yeah, they're beginning to miss Saka a bit.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka, who was on the edge of the pitch as Havertz takes this forward but shoots from outside the D. This time goes for distance. He got a sight of the goal there, slightly left of centre, just outside the D, but mishit the shot, dragged it well wide.
I mean, there's no doubt that Havertz has faded a little bit in the last little while. He didn't have a great game at all against Spurs, but the fans who had a little bit of dig at the week before, obviously after that missed penalty, the reaction has been absolutely superb. Every time he's touched the ball tonight, the fans have got behind him, the Arsenal fans have got behind him, as if accepting, look, it's a tough time, you need to get through it, and they need to help him.
5 Live from the BBC. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. If you're on the move as well, remember you can listen to 5 Live and all BBC Radio via BBC Sounds. Leinster have had a comeback against Bath. It's now Leinster 12, Bath 14. Havertz, middle of the Villa half, turns, passes the ball to Partey, and then backing away, Martinelli on the right hand side. He's got Partey for support, goes for the cross though. Martinelli headed away by Mings, got up well, twisted, headed it away. Now into the penalty area again, it's Trossard, but Trossard runs into navy blue. Mings with the pass forward towards Watkins, very much the lone front man. Watkins on his own against Timber and Gabriel. Still Watkins into the penalty area, lots of Arsenal defenders back. It's still only Watkins, and eventually Tielemans and Rodgers are able to get forward and join him. Watkins is still in possession of the ball though as he takes it out towards the right hand side.
He's done brilliantly there. He's ran from his own half there. He's outpaced a couple of Arsenal defenders. They've managed to get back though, but he held on to it and he's made sure that his teammates can eventually, and I mean seriously eventually, get up and give him a little bit of support. A little bit of a shame for Watkins here. Too fast for his own good.
Yeah, but that was a classic piece of lone centre forward play to keep possession, as they say, hold the ball up.
Yeah, he did it very well. Someone got a yellow card there. I'm not sure who it was. It can't be Maatsen. So I wonder if it was Arteta. I think it was Arteta not giving the ball back.
Yes. So that's another one for Mikel Arteta. I have to count these up now.
I couldn't really see what he'd done unless he was holding on to the ball when he shouldn't actually be getting near the ball.
Yeah. Well, do you remember, when was it? Was that you and I, when he actually picked the ball up when it was on the pitch?
Yeah, incredible.
When was that? Was that Milan?
It's so rare that you ever seen anything like that.
That was Milan, wasn't it? The Inter match. That's right, isn't it?
I thought it was, oh God, I can't remember. Someone will correct us.
Was it you? No.
Yeah, I thought it was here.
Okay, right. Apparently he was complaining to the assistant referee. He was saying that it should have been an Arsenal throw when it was given as a Villa throw. Oh, that's a strong tackle from Lewis Skelly on Morgan Rogers. He knew about that, and then Rogers reacts by shoving over Lewis Skelly and conceding the free kick. And Partey's taking it quickly. Havertz is in the box on the right. Villa have got to get back. Havertz does well. Martinez comes out and makes the save. And the offside flag is up.
Well, somewhat surprisingly, but brilliant play it quickly. It's up to Arsenal to do that. I mean, one of the players is down there, Lewis Skelly's down there. I don't think he's acting. I think he is. I've got a little bit of an injury there. But if they want to play it early, they can play it early. But had that continued there, then Aston Villa, they shouldn't have taken it. I'm trying to think. I cannot see where the offside flag. It must have been Havertz in the very first instance when he was played through, was called offside. Very tight though.
I make it that is only Mikel Arteta's second yellow card of the season. So
he is shouting a bit and the arms are waving a bit, but it's a passionate game. Seems a wee bit harsh on Mikel Arteta in my position.
I suppose it depends what was said, Pat, doesn't it? And I imagine
it depends how
the fourth official or the assistant will have heard it.
And obviously has better Spanish than they realised.
Well, yes. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. Over half an hour played. Throwing. Oh, Partey has thrown, and Watkins with a chance, but lifts it over on the volley. He went for it, went for the snapshot. He had Gabriel in front of him. Raya was off his line, but he didn't get it right, and it dropped over the crossbar.
Well, that's a terrible throw. It's a great throw if you were throwing into Ollie Watkins to run on for a shot. Watkins, he does what you should do there. You've got to beat the keeper and hope it dips under the crossbar. Doesn't do so, but I think that's by a serious distance the best opportunity that Aston Villa have had so far. And you've got to say, we're talking about Declan Rice being in the eyes of Thomas Tuchel. The pace right now of Watkins looks frightening, and he really fancies it. He's got a tough job, particularly up against Gabriel, but he's given him a few problems tonight. He's got away from him 2 or 3 times.
Yes, and of course Thomas Tuchel will be well aware of what Ollie Watkins is capable of, and Declan Rice, who I mentioned earlier. However, I think Miles Lewis Skelly's an interesting one. The Islington-born teenage left-back who's really wowing the Arsenal supporters.
He's class act. Absolute class act. And you mentioned confidence there. That is an understatement of the year from yourself, John. He is all about belief in himself, and he will tackle anyone and believes he can beat anyone and take anyone on.
Oh, this is nice. Onana forward for Villa to Rogers. Rogers running free. Arsenal players all around him. Gives it to Watkins with the shot, but it's straight into the defender. Arsenal had men back very quickly there. That was so obvious. Those red and white shirts were all over the Villa players, but an effective Villa break.
Yeah, Villa constantly. Watkins is making the right runs. Yeah, he's running into gaps, running into space, but players like Gabriel particularly allowing him to go wide, as if to say, go wide, it's okay, I will cope with you in a moment when you come towards the goal. And so far Gabriel's been able to do that.
It's still Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 0. Not a match that's been packed with goal scoring opportunities, but it is also a match that the way that it's developed so far, the first goal, whoever gets the first goal, it's that is going to be a case of stick or twist, isn't it?
I actually think it would lift Arsenal a huge amount if they lost the goal here and they'd really up the pace a little bit, but I don't think anything would change Villa's game.
Lovely pass to Trossard with the cross. Martinelli! Martinez makes the save on the goal line, a sprawling save. It was over the line. Martinez couldn't keep it out. It looked like a super save, but Martinelli, there was enough on it from the Brazilian to force it over the line. What a cross from Trossard, and Martinelli scores to make it Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0.
The limited amounts you've been getting so far off some of the defence, by the way, it's over by about an inch, maybe 2 inches there. The wide players not given that much so far. Trossard this time though gets to the left hand side, just gets to the byline, and they always say that to a winger: trap the back post, make sure you try and get inside your defender there. And just for a few seconds it was Maatsen, wasn't it? Caught slightly on his heels, player gets in front of him, puts it into the ground. Very tough on the goalkeeper there, but it doesn't matter if it's 2 inches or 2 yards over the line, it's a goal.
The Arsenal goal scorer, number 11, Gabriel!
And they respond with the name of Gabriel Martinelli, who has just scored his 7th goal of the season, his first one since New Year's Day, when I saw them win at Brentford. And there is a stoppage in play because one of the Villa players, Onana, has actually sat down in his own penalty area. So Arsenal have threatened, they've pushed, they've had a lot of pressure, and now finally that pressure has told. And while we have this stoppage here, let's see what's happening at the Celtic-Kilmarnock Cup tie. Gavin Wallace.
Still 1-0 to Celtic at the moment, John. That goal on 12 from Callum McGregor. Celtic over a couple of good chances. There was a ball slides through Kelly's defence. Kyogo won the foot race and just shaved the left-hand post of Kieran O'Hara. It is though Celtic 1, Kelly 0.
Just seeing a replay of the goal as Onana is up on his feet and is walking off the field. 1-0 to the Arsenal. You can hear the shout here inside the stadium, and he nipped in Martinelli, didn't he, ahead of Maatsen, who was rather on his heels.
That's one of the difficult things. If you're a left full back, you have to make sure you've got your eyes over your shoulder, seeing what's coming behind you. Is he going to try and nip on your inside or go on your outside? You have to keep an eye on the flight of the ball as well. So there's a lot of calls there, and a lot of the full-backs, the left full-backs who are left-footed, they want to still attack the ball with the left foot when they should go with the right. And it gives them that moment of indecision, and that's exactly what Martinelli was waiting for. It was just a moment of indecision, sneaked in front of him, and it's made all the difference here. And Onana ain't coming back on.
No, that's the end of his afternoon. With just under 10 minutes to go to half time, Onana is walking down the tunnel. Amadou Onana, the Belgian international, is off, and so the young Dutchman Lamar Bogaard, the nephew of Winston Bogarde, who I'm sure many listeners will remember, he is on to take his place. The number 26, yes. A relatively rare appearance from him, came through the Villa Academy but was on loan at Bristol Rovers the last couple of seasons. So he's onto the field here at the Emirates, and Arsenal are leading by 1-0, and they've managed to get themselves in front before half time in this match that everyone here in a red and white scarf or a red and white shirt will feel that they have to win.
Yeah, there was just a few moments in the 10 minutes before that. I'm not saying they were looking flaky or anything like that at the back, but they were having problems, obviously, particularly from Ollie Watkins and his pace. So they needed something to settle themselves down, Arsenal, and nothing settles you down more than getting a goal. And of course, if you get one of the main midfielders going off, that makes a difference. I thought they might have brought someone else on and maybe put Tielemans back there in that central midfield, but they went for Bogarde.
Yeah, as cross from the left-hand side all the way to the right-hand side to Martinelli. Martinelli, the goal scorer, plays it back to Partey. Partey's ball into the box. Then the chance for Trossard in the area. It deflected to him with the angle, right side of the box. He was probably 10, 12 yards out. He went for the whip, but he whipped it over the top of the crossbar. Yeah,
it would have been offside anyway, but in those situations, he has to try and get it over Mings' legs, who's diving in there, but you just make sure you get it on target there. He's just trying far too hard, lashed it over, but it would not have counted. It was definitely offside before that.
So Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0 is the score, and Arsenal have got the scoreline that they would need to move back to within 4 points of the leaders Liverpool, as Partey was being tugged back there by Tielemans, but was able to retain possession. So referee Kavanagh said play on Arsenal. They were in possession. Lewis Skelly now, here's his pass towards the left-hand side. Trossard, who will get an assist for that goal. It was a very good assist. Excellent work from Trossard to set it up.
He wasn't playing against a fullback. Cash had gone slightly forward, so he found himself 1-on-1 with Kamara on that far side there, who, although defensively minded, isn't a natural fullback. And if you're a winger against someone who doesn't play that naturally, you want to check him out. He checked him out and he wasn't up to it. Great cross.
Arsenal coming again, once more on the left-hand side with Trossard, takes on Cash, but then cuts back onto his right foot, still in the full-back position, goes for the byline, left-footed cross, Marino heads it down, bounces on the edge of the area, touch square to Partey, oh, lovely ball in, curling shot from Marino, but not enough curl on it from the right side of the penalty area, trying to bend it in, but there was nowhere near enough bend on it. Actually, it pretty much held its line and flew past the far
Yeah,
post.
but to be fair, Thomas Partey, you've been watching Martin Odegaard, haven't you? That little float-through ball, giving the eyes and everything, looking the other way. Beautiful ball he plays through. Well done, Partey.
So it is Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0. And here's Maatsen, who has come into the side for Digne, but certainly was caught out by Martinelli for the goal. Martinelli just arriving just inside the 6-yard box, and the shot, it had power, and Martinez in the Villa goal actually did well to save it initially with a reaction save, but as he did, he fell back into the net, tried to claw it away, but as Pat said, it was over by, I mean, you could see it from the shot that we had down the line. It was clearly over.
It was clearly over. Yeah, not a huge distance over, but it doesn't matter. But I mean, a couple of things come into your mind. Maatsen, who's been good when he's got the ball going forward, but since he got that yellow card, he's had to be a little bit more cagey. And sometimes, you know, when there's a player coming in from behind you, if you stick a leg out there and he goes over, that's another yellow card. So that might have had something got to do with the way he defended.
Yeah. Or ball into the area. Konza threw himself at the ball and made it, I think, quite clear to the referee that he'd been shoved by Havertz in the way that he went sprawling down. The ball actually struck his arm in the penalty area, hence the shouts you heard from behind us, but free kick's been given.
It's one of those ones, he'll be hoping that he was pushed there, because VAR will have a look at it, but I suspect that Havertz give him a little bit of a nudge, enough of it to put him off his balance a little bit. But strangely, the game's changed since the goal. It's got a little bit more bitty. I mean, I suppose Aston Villa have to get back into the rhythm again and have to decide, well, they'll probably not go all out for it, but at some point, you know, if they don't score a goal, certainly within the first 10 minutes of the second half, they'll have to adapt.
That's given away by Ramsey. Arsenal pounce on it. Martinelli plays it through. Havertz, they're appealing for offside. Havertz takes it round the outside of Bulgard. The cross in, away by Konza, further away by Camara, and he's been able to find his teammate Tielemans, still near the edge of the box though, and he was fouled. He was fouled by Partey, and it's a free kick to Villa. Villa, you know, Pat, they can't afford to go 2-0 down.
No, it doesn't look as if it would be an easy way back for that, although there are some real good options they've got on the bench, as we know, Aston Villa. But just a moment ago there, something happened. Havertz got the ball, went out wide, and just every now and again someone throws in a dummy or a feint or something that just is extra special, and he did one there, and I think most people missed it, but it was absolute genius.
Yeah, it was given away by Trossard on the halfway line, but Arsenal have it back. Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0. Gabriel Martinelli. Both of these teams will be involved in Champions League action this coming midweek, but at the moment all eyes on the Premier League as Trossard takes it down the left wing. Rodgers in on the challenge. Cash was there as well. Trossard goes down, shouts over in that corner for a free kick. Referee's not interested in that, and Villa play it back into their own penalty area. Then Martinez, the goalkeeper, right-footed and long towards Watkins. Gabriel comes very, very tight on Watkins. Watkins backing into Gabriel, goes to ground. No free kick for that. That's what he was hoping for. And then Rodgers slips over on the far side, and there's a set two between Rodgers and Trossard, which very quickly calms down. Lewis Skelly was taking the ball away. Watkins is now speaking to the referee after that challenge from Gabriel. Declan Rice is playing his part as well, and the referee very slowly and calmly eventually gets to Morgan Rodgers.
Yeah, I watched the game earlier on today, and the referee was very slow to go to his pocket for his cards, which helped the game along. I was hoping the same would happen here, and it is. The problem is it won't shut up.
And now
Rodgers
he's still talking.
Exactly.
He'd been sent away by the referee.
Yeah,
And now Tielemans has come across and said to Morgan Rodgers, come on, leave it alone.
He almost talked himself into the boot there again. But there was a bit of frustration there, because Watkins, you know, the grappling you get from Gabriel, and everybody knows that's what Gabriel does. He's like limpet. He's close to you all the time, and it looks like a foul, but he seemed to know how to do it just within the rules. But it's so frustrating for players to play against.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Partey's ball over the top, but Martinelli won't reach that, and it bounces all the way through for a goal kick. So Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0. Yes, Arsenal will be at home to Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League on Wednesday night. That's when we will be bringing you commentary on Paris Saint-Germain against Manchester City. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. But on Tuesday, Pat, you will be...
Well, stop putting the pressure off me. You're going to Paris.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm going to Monaco.
You're going to Monaco with Aston Villa. And that is an early start, by the way, so it'll be an early finish to Drive on 5 Live that night. 5:45 kick-off at Monaco against Aston Villa. And Villa 5th in that Champions League table. So if they're able to win in Monaco, and depending on the other results, that may well be qualification for the last 16 sorted there and then, but we'll see. Everton 0, Aston Villa 1 in the Women's Super League, and a goal just before half-time for Aston Villa.
No, just looking at the way Villa are setting up just now, there's only a minute, well, we've had a minute gone of the 2 minutes extra we're getting at the end of the half. Let's might as well put it in there. Mings has gone up, give him a chance to lump it towards that back post, get as many players forward, and if you could get level just before half-time, what a difference that would make.
Yeah, they're actually looking across to Austin McPhee, the Villa set-piece man, just for what
you remember players used to be able to make up their own minds.
So the free kick is hit long, which it surely had to be, as Pat's already made clear. It's headed away. Jacob Ramsey has it, back to Maatsen. The 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half are almost up. So Villa go back to the halfway line, probably have to go long. Maatsen waits though, then back to Tielemans, who plays it in field, very nearly gave it away, actually does find Camara, in fairness to him, and then Camara is being challenged, and Villa I think are going nowhere here. Unlike many of the crowd, lots of red seats have appeared around the stadium. People have headed for the exits for the half-time refreshments, and Arsenal win it back, and Marino plays it diagonally for Martinelli to chase, and he's forced Mings to deflect it away behind for a corner. That's frustrating for Villa. Well, they came to absolutely nothing. They've ended up conceding a corner.
To be honest, they didn't seem to have their own minds on what they should do with a free kick in what was a really decent area. And because they spent so much time thinking about it, talking about it, they didn't have a chance to put it into a dangerous area. Arsenal have now, with seconds to go, in fact we've gone past the 2 minutes, I've got a chance to make it 2-0 just before half-time from this corner.
Yeah, lots more reaction coming very shortly to the earlier matches. Round everything up, Mark Chapman back in the studio. But Arsenal with this final corner of the first half, Odegaard to play it into the near post, which is headed up and away, back out to Odegaard, and there is the whistle from Chris Kavanagh. Arsenal leading 1-0 at half-time. That goal from Martinelli, I think 34th minute, 33rd, 34th minute. They deserve to be ahead.
They do deserve to be ahead. They've had more of the play, probably slightly more of the chances, though definitely Watkins looks very dangerous when he gets the break. Problem is he's up against one of the best markers in the business, and so far he's not really been able to shake off Gabriel. But watching as the game's gone on, the wide players for Arsenal, they've come more and more in the game, become more and more influential. Trossard and Martinelli, one makes a goal, one scores a goal, but what they've also been doing is dragging the rest of the Aston Villa players back. So the wide players from Villa, they're getting dragged further and further back to give their full-backs help, and that's why Watkins finds himself on his own with no help at all. They need to do something to change that in the second half, Villa.
Players disappearing down that bright red extended tunnel here at the Emirates Stadium down below us. And at half-time, Arsenal in this match doing what they have to do after Liverpool's win earlier. Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0 at half-time.
Yep, Villa's men behind at the break. Villa's women lead as they approach the break of the Women's Super League. Rachel Daly's goal, the difference between themselves and Everton. Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. To the Scottish Cup, Gavin Wallace.
We think Kilmarnock might just have scored with 6 minutes of added time. Although, I don't know, Kasper Schmeichel's putting the ball down. It is Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0 at the moment. Celtic might for the last maybe 10-15 minutes have been just easing up a little bit. They've squandered a good 5 or 6 chances. And just to confirm, there we go, Bobby Wales has indeed scored for Kilmarnock. It's game on at Celtic Park. Celtic 1, Killie 1.
Are there any Kilmarnock fans there?
Yes, they're all off to my right-hand side.
Very
there's maybe
quiet reaction to that.
There's about 300 of them in what appears to be a massive big bit of wall of stand off to my right-hand side. It's the restricted view section, so a lot of away fans don't tend to come if they don't have to. Plus, it's on the telly.
Celtic and Kilmarnock then, as they approach half-time, going through St Johnstone, St Mirren, Hibs, Hamilton, Aberdeen, Dunfermline, Airdrieonians, Cove Rangers, Ayr, Livingston and Queen's Park today in the Scottish Cup. Darwin Núñez's 2 late goals got Liverpool the win at Brentford in the Premier League. Crystal Palace won 2-0 at West Ham. Fulham beat Leicester 2-0. Performance of the day probably came in the early game as Bournemouth put 4 past Newcastle at St James's Park. Finished Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 4. Sheffield United have gone top of the Championship after they beat Norwich. Leeds don't play until tomorrow. Big wins towards the bottom for Hull and Portsmouth, but Plymouth, bottom of the table, lost again, beaten at home by QPR. The League One leaders Birmingham beat Exeter 1-0. Second place Wycombe won as well, and the League Two leaders won again as well. Walsall beat MK Dons by 4-2. Reaction to the day's Premier League football to come after Jill Mackenzie and the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Israel is warning that it will not proceed with a ceasefire in Gaza unless it receives the names of the 3 hostages expected to be released by Hamas tomorrow. The ceasefire deal is due to take effect at 6:30 in the morning. In the past few minutes, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has said Israel reserves the right to resume the war if necessary, with US support. At least 30 people have been hurt in a ski lift accident in the Spanish Pyrenees near the French border. More than half of them needed medical attention. Dozens of people have been rescued after being stuck on the chairlift at the Aston ski resort. The White House says TikTok's threat of going dark in the US tomorrow is a stunt. The US Supreme Court has upheld a law banning the social media platform unless its Chinese owners sell their US operation. The incoming President Donald Trump says he'll most likely give TikTok a 90-day reprieve from a potential US ban after he takes office on Monday. And Welsh Water says more than half the properties affected by a burst water pipe in North Wales have now had their supply restored. Around 40,000 homes were without water after it happened on Wednesday evening.
No, what a stunner! It's an absolute cracker!
Ever feel like you just missed out on something amazing? With BBC Sounds, you can ask most smart speakers to go back to the start of the show. Just say, ask BBC Sounds to restart.
And now we are ready for the big one. Full commentary here on 5 Live.
So you never miss a thing again. Get more from your smart speaker with BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
With Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Gabriel Martinelli's goal has given Arsenal a 1-0 lead at Aston Villa at the break. If they hold on to that, then the gap at the top to Liverpool will be back down to 4 points. 2 late goals from Darwin Núñez at Brentford gave Arne Slot side all 3 points earlier, and afterwards he spoke to Gary Flintoff.
Well, Arne, congratulations. Is that a perfect example why many football managers tend to lose their hair during the course of managing a football team?
Yeah, and I'm not even a manager for a long time, so that tells you probably that I had many of these games already. This season we already had a few of them. I think United was one of them where everybody was focused on the Maguire chance, but the 7 minutes before we had 3 open chances. Fulham was one of them where we had a big chance in the end, and Forest, of course, the last few minutes, last half an hour, we got chance after chance after chance. Today it looked like a similar scenario, but we were on the lucky side this time.
Did you have a gut feeling about Darwin today when you sent him on? And what does it mean to you and his teammates that he's come up with the goods today?
It means a lot for him, means a lot for me, means a lot for the team, means a lot for the fans and everybody who likes Liverpool. So it's not like if I bring someone in, I feel if he's going to score. I think he is able to score, like on Tuesday Jota is able to score. We've got players that can score a goal, the ones we start. We think they can score goals, and if they don't, we know we can impact the game from the bench. On Tuesday it was Jota, today it was Darwin, because these players are available, and that's the most important thing. And if they are available, these are players that can impact the game for us.
On a slot with Gary Flintoff. Back-to-back Premier League away wins for Crystal Palace on a great run of form under Oliver Glasner as they won 2-0 at West Ham. Here he is with Simon Brotherton.
Oliver, congratulations. A second away win in the space of a few days. You must be a very happy man here tonight in East London.
Oh yes, thank you very much for the congratulations, and I want to pass it forward to the players because they showed an excellent performance today, very consistent in defense. I think we didn't give West Ham a clear chance over the whole game, the whole time, and we scored the goals in the right moments straight after halftime with a great goal in the build-up and then the run in behind. We could have done a little bit more in the first half, but I think we controlled the game, and then it was players got a little bit tired, being ill, and it was the third game within 6 days, and this was the time where West Ham got a little bit more dominant, but then with a great impact from all our subs, and Eddie takes the penalty, and JP decides the game. So I'm very pleased, and this is the difference to the way we win at Leicester, because at Leicester we were really pleased with our result, but not with our performance. But today I'm really pleased with the performance and with the result as well.
And that was Graham Potter's first Premier League defeat since taking over at West Ham. So here's what he made of it.
Yeah, it looked like it was maybe a game too far for us after a big effort in midweek. So we're disappointed with the result, of course. We're disappointed with the performance, but at the same time we have to understand where we're at, what we have to try to improve. We need to stick together as a team. We spoke about that after the Fulham game in terms of the foundation will be that. So now's the time just to try to help the players and recover from this game and move forward and try to get better.
How challenging is it, Graham, to come into a new club halfway through a season, when the games are back-to-back, and try and get your ideas across?
Yeah, it's tough, but again, I think we're really happy with the work that we've done in terms of the response with the players and how they're engaged and open to what we've talked about. I think it isn't just someone comes in and everything just turns around pretty quickly. It's always a process. It takes effort and takes work, and the boys they're up for that. Today wasn't our day, and we have to accept it. As much as you don't like to say that, it wasn't. But now we have to stick together. We have to support the guys and try to improve.
Half-time whistle has gone at Celtic in the Scottish Cup, and the holders are being held by Kilmarnock at the break. 1-1 there. Back to the Premier League. Leicester beaten at home 2-0 by Fulham. Their 7th straight defeat in the Premier League. They stay next to bottom. Here's Ruud van Nistelrooy with Pat Murphy.
Was that a fair result?
Yes.
Didn't play well enough?
No, we didn't.
Have you told the players that?
Yeah, but it's not for me to tell them. But it was today. It wasn't. First half was 0-0, and we were in there and hanging in there. But I think, in all aspects of the game, we didn't perform enough today to get a result.
Just to say about Denis Law, a word on him, please, Ruud. One great goal scorer talking about another one at Old Trafford. You lived next door to him, didn't you?
Yeah, we were neighbours, and I popped in a couple of times for a cup of tea. And were lovely chats with him and his wife and his family as well. So it were amazing moments to have a cup of tea with Denis Law in his kitchen and looking into his backyard, talk about strikers, talk about goals, talk about life. Great man, kind, sense of humour, out of this world, but the kindest man ever.
He didn't like to talk about his own achievements, did he? He was modest.
Very, very humble, hard-working, family man. Such an example in somebody who's an absolute legend of the game, with his statue in front of Old Trafford, but so normal, so kind, so educated. So it was a hard loss to hear.
Did he actually help you as a striker?
He did, yeah.
What did he tell you? What did he suggest?
No, he didn't suggest it, but it's about being in that public eye, how to deal with it, how to deal with the attention, how to stay normal, how to stay focused, how to appreciate your family. Those conversations, they were I'll never forget them.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, Pat Murphy. So many lovely memories of Denis Law over the last 24 hours or so. You may have some more tonight, Natalie, as well as other calls.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love that. My poor dad was in bits last night, Mark. Absolute bits. He's absolute hero. So, yeah, if you'd like to talk about Denis Law, you're very, very welcome, of course, on
Not many people
tonight.
unite Manchester if on both sides, do they?
Very, very much, yeah. And English and Scots people as well.
Very true. Yeah,
yes.
Very true.
So Chris Sutton will be joining me. He's currently hauling himself across London because he was at at Brentford-Liverpool today, so I don't know if he's on the tube or if he's on a bike, but he will be in London in time for 6:06. So 7:30, we'd love to hear from Liverpool fans because, of course, you left it late in London, but you did it. So we want to hear from Liverpool fans. How are they feeling as well? We also want to hear from Leicester fans because Ruud van Nistelrooy didn't mention it there, but some Leicester fans were singing songs about Ruud van Nistelrooy, suggesting that he didn't know what he was doing. So, Leicester fans, do you regret sacking Steve Cooper? We'd love to hear from you as well. And also Bournemouth fans, you must be bouncing all the way back down from the northeast. It's a long journey, but you've probably partied all the way down. We want to hear from Bournemouth fans after that huge win at Newcastle. And also the Championship. Sheffield United have gone top. Yeah. But what's going on in the playoff places? It's like nobody wants to claim a playoff place at the minute. So what's going on in the Championship? We want to hear from you as well. Give us a ring now. You can book in your call. It's 08085 909 693. And of course also Arsenal, Aston Villa fans, whatever happens, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Before we head back to the Emirates, where Arsenal lead by a goal to nil, let's just reflect on the race at Ascot this afternoon. Nicky Henderson's John Bond up against Willie Mullins, trained an Ergoman in the Clarence House Chase, watched by John Hunt.
Well, not quite, Mark, the compelling head-to-head we were hoping for, but still a thoroughly enjoyable, high-quality race with John Bond, the 8-13 favourite, coming out conclusively ahead of Energumene, who finished second, beaten 6.5 lengths. So John Bond takes his winning run to 12 out of 14 over fences and is now a red-hot favourite for the champion chase at the Cheltenham Festival in March. Trainer Nicky Henderson, a great record in this race. He's won it with brilliant horses like Shishkin, Altior and the brilliant Sprinter Sacra. Now looking forward to John Bond and really enjoyed this afternoon's events as they unfolded too.
Well, it was always going to be a big match. It was two heavyweights fighting for a title. And Energene's been a very good horse over the years. He might be getting a bit older, but he's still a very good horse. And it was a good, clean fight, really. And this is just a very good... He's still quite young and he's being very professional now and he's jumping so slick.
And of course you've won it many times before in recent years with the great Sprinter Sacra, more recently Shishkin. His name's alongside that sort of horse now.
Well, he is. I think that's 9 grade 1s and that takes a bit of doing in any horse's language. So, we have to appreciate him. We're very lucky to have him. And, those good 2-milers, it's been a great era for Seven Barrows and them, and we're just very lucky, and we mind them as best we can. And
that was Nicky Henderson. Plenty more live sport on the way. You've got Champions Cup Rugby Union on Sports Extra, where today there have already been wins for Northampton, who beat Munster 34-32, and Clermont, who beat Bristol 33-26. Bulls beat Stade Francais, currently at half-time. Benetton 13, La Rochelle 11, and Leinster 19, Bath 21. You've got Jack Draper against Carlos Alcaraz from 4:30 tomorrow morning on Sports Extra. And if you want the snooker later, Judd Trump against Kyron Wilson on BBC Two at 7 o'clock and the BBC Sport website. Earlier, Sean Murphy hit a 147 as he beat Mark Allen 6-3. You're a bit of a snooker player, aren't you, John Murray? I mean, you're more Cliff Thorburn than Ronnie O'Sullivan, but what's your highest break?
I think it's 40-something.
Is it?
What's yours?
28, I think. Yeah, I
bet Pat's had a century.
Do you think? Have you, Pat?
It's not a game I've played much. I'm sorry.
Probably took John 2 hours to make that 40.
You're stereotyping me, okay? Anyway, off we go in the second half here at the Emirates. Arsenal leading by 1-0. And Unai Emery at the half-time break, Pat, has decided that Maatsen, who was caught out for the goal and was on a yellow card, he's off and Digne's on.
It's a bit of a shame that, because going forward you look great, but you can't take any chances, and if you can't make a tackle because you're on a booking and you've already been caught once at the back post, it is not even mildly surprising. Not a stinker. It's just that he's better going forward than he is going back.
It's cold wind whipping around the Emirates Stadium. There's quite a few, probably thousands of people have not come back to their seats yet for the start of the second half. Whether the two are connected, I don't know. Throwing for Arsenal. Trossard tries to get a touch, but it's swept away downfield for Villa, back to the halfway line. No changes for Arsenal. They are as they started. Trossard's claiming he was being pulled back there by Cash, and the referee Chris Kavanagh agrees with him. Free kick to Arsenal on the left.
Well, we're right up above it here, and I've no idea why Cash is saying I did nothing, well, apart from hold his jersey for about 5 seconds. No, slightly panicked there. Each time Trossard, who's, as the game has developed and as the space has developed, he's actually looked stronger and faster and more dangerous as the game has gone on.
Arsenal would love a second goal right at the start of the second half, just to have that cushion if they can. Set piece. Odegaard has come across to take it. He sent Rice away.
And he sent Gabriel, who always comes over and then always goes away, usually for corner kicks and free kicks, so he can tell everybody else what they're doing.
I get the impression, Pat, that were you his teammate, that might annoy you.
I know, I was listening in the dressing room.
So the free kick not taken yet, because Martin Odegaard is saying that Cash is not 10 yards away, and judging by where the referee's white line is, I can understand why Odegaard would say that. However, Cash is still in that position. Odegaard plays it in dangerously, and it's headed up and wide of the near post. Havertz got there. They're saying, the Arsenal players are saying that the final touch was off the Villa defender. I think Konza it was who went with Havertz, but referee Kavanagh is adamant. Goal kick.
Do you know, my blood will run slightly cold at that moment there. Do you know when Cash was on the side of the line there? And I can remember it was often my job to run in from that angle. And I remember shouting to a referee once, no, I'm equidistant. And the entire game stopped as they all went, ooh, it's equidistant. Yes. I hate that.
Pat had to gather everyone around and say, equidistant. Definition of Oxford English Dictionary.
No. Later in the game, someone said the phrase, he decapitated me at the knee, and I thought, no, not going to pull him up. Just going to leave that.
Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0. Gabriel Martinelli, the goal scorer. It's time 35th minute, the goal. Arsenal with Raya in goal. Partey, Timber, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly. No Saliba today. He's got a minor muscle injury, but so far so good for Arsenal without him. Marino with Odegaard and Rice in midfield. Martinelli and Trossard in the wide areas. Havertz through the middle. And Villa, having had to make 2 changes now, or having made 2 changes. Martinez in goal, the captain, then Cash, Konza, Mings and substitute Digne. In midfield, Camara, substitute Bogard and Tielemans, Rodgers, Ramsey and Watkins. Arsenal coming for Lewis Skelly's ball across is cleared away at the back post by Digne on his wrong foot as well. I did wonder for a moment there whether that might fly into his own net, but he was able to deliver it back across the goal from where it had come and out for a corner.
Yeah, again, Trossard is in great condition now. He's in great positions he's finding. His understanding is growing really by the minute with Lewis Skelly. And that's another great opportunity. And like the start of the first half, we're not seeing a lot of Aston Villa out with their own half.
Corner then. This is Arsenal's 6th of the match. They've caused problems. Villa have been able to hold out so far. And Rice isn't ready yet. There's a lot of movement there, but Rice is saying that it's not as he wants it in the middle. So Rice is not going to take it just yet. Havertz and Partey are wrestling in the 6-yard box. Rice takes the call. Martinez comes. Oh, so did Mings as well, and the two of them got in one another's way. And in the end, I think it came off the defender's head as opposed to the goalkeeper's gloves. Well, they've defended it anyway, even though it's out for a corner on the other side.
Yeah, but the whole idea of what Arsenal do every time is try to create chaos. When you create chaos, things like that happen. Mings headers the ball because you don't know where anyone is. There's so much movement, so much barging. The quality of the ball's good in there as well. Yes, of course the keeper would have got it there, but you cannot take a chance if you're a centre back.
Chaos. Utter chaos, as a famous Arsenal supporter might say. I'm not sure if he's here today. Sakir. Here's the corner. Odegaard deep to the back post. Marino heads it across and it's cleared away by Mings. Out to Trossard. He shoots on the volley and that's blocked on the edge of the area. I think it hit Jacob Ramsey on the hand and has actually stung his hand on a cold day. Still Arsenal. Martinelli. Now Trossard. Right-footed ball curling in from the left. That's headed away by Cameron. Didn't get any distance on it. Headed further away by Tielemans. Arsenal have maintained the pressure at the start of the second half that they mounted for most of the first. Lines are open for 6:06, but here comes Rice driving forward towards the edge of the Villa box, then gives it to Odegaard. His ball in. Martinez comes out of his 6-yard box and catches it round about chest height.
Just race when he went through there, and it was a gallop, wasn't it? He was flying through, running past player after player. You kind of just wanted him to keep going to find if he could go all the way, but good sense, and he just held up the ball in the end.
In the Champions Cup Rugby Union, now Leinster 19, Bath 21. Sounds like a very good contest. Still Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1 in the Scottish Cup at Celtic Park, and Arsenal with a free kick halfway inside their own half. Yes, the lines are open. It's Natalie Pike with Chris Sutton for 6:06 tonight. Chris, who was with Ian Dennis for the commentary at Brentford Liverpool earlier, had a great noise there as Liverpool snatched those 2 late goals. So the lines are open now. 08085 909 693 to book your call. And as Natalie and Mark Chapman were saying at half time, any Dennis Law memories would be great. If you've had experience, if you met the great man and want to talk about him, then please be their guest. Free kick to Arsenal. Gabriel takes this long and left footed out towards the right hand side. Martinelli plays it back towards the halfway line, and then back it goes again from Timber to Gabriel, who will go all the way back towards the edge of the penalty area. You and I were listening at half time to Ruud van Nistelrooy's interview with Pat Murphy after his Leicester side loss today, speaking about Dennis Law. That was some fine words chosen.
Yes, exactly, but a very, very good reflection of Dennis, the man, as well as the kind of the icon that he was as well. I've got many personal memories, one particular, a dementia event that we went to, and I was talking to these men who had no great memories of the recent past, but I started talking to them about Dennis Law, and they knew everything, they remembered everything. And what they didn't know is I had Dennis Law outside and the great man came in and the place erupted, and it was so beautiful, and Dennis stayed there for such a long time, and he chatted to them all, and it was absolutely the mark of the man.
Wow, almost brings a tear to the eye.
It did for me the day, I can promise you.
Dennis Law, I think, there's a lot said about what a footballer he was, and also his personality, but I was thinking today on the train, probably one of the greatest Scotsmen, I think you would.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you ask any of the other ones like Conley and the greats, they see him as a hero.
1-0 Arsenal, the match currently being played in the central third, and Lewis Skelly then going back into his own half. Gabriel, as Arsenal start again, the red shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts, red socks against the navy blue and white trim of Aston Villa today. Arsenal now, as they like to in the second half, playing from right to left as we look towards the North Bank stand. We're looking down on it. We've got a great view here high up in the stadium, thanks to Arsenal again. Sometimes we have to sit downstairs, sometimes upstairs. The view up here is really very good.
It's perfect. It's actually the perfect height. You're close enough but high enough. Absolutely spot on.
And I'm looking down on Trossard on the left wing up against Cash, and the Villa right back goes with him, but Trossard gets the ball and shot. Oh, what a finish from Havertz. There was nothing wrong with that from the German. Met it left foot, near post, it fizzed past Martinez, and Arsenal now have the 2-goal lead, 2-0 against Aston Villa.
And again, it is Trossard. He's man-to-man, he's up against the full-back, he just takes his time. He's always looking for is half a yard. Cash doesn't want to make a tackle there. He goes further and further back. Trossard knows he's got the pace and he's got the quality, but there's still a lot to do from Havertz, who's in front of the front post. He had to catch it with his left foot, go slightly behind him. I mean, in slow motion it looks as if the keeper should have done better, but it didn't happen in slow motion. Lovely finish for Kai Havertz. It's a little bit of problem he's had recently with the confidence fading a wee bit in front of goal. Well, that'll have helped him, and boy, that's helped his team.
2-0, as I say, just outside the 6-yard box, but met it perfectly. And as Pat says, it actually hits the left leg of Martinez and goes into the net. But I mean, it was struck so sweetly.
It was struck sweetly, and because of the angle, the keeper's thinking, well, it's the only place you're going to beat me there is at a near post, so I'll keep that covered. But he's managed to angle it slightly behind the keeper, just caught the bottom of his leg there, but very tough one. And Havertz, he fancies it now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it would be impossible for Kai Havertz not to be aware of the criticism. And remember last Sunday missing the penalty in the shootout against Manchester United in the FA Cup, and the general criticism for him not being clinical enough, as Partey puts in a very good tackle on Jacob Ramsey as Villa try to come forward. But Villa now have got a great deal to do in this match here at the Emirates, where they've not lost since April, since Villa came here last season, and in fact that's their only defeat, Aston Villa, in their last 19 home Premier League matches. And from 2-0 up, this looks as though it'll be very, very difficult for Aston Villa to get anything out of this.
And that's a very harsh song that the Arsenal fans are singing. Hey, Martinez, he's one of our own. It wasn't that kind of bad a mistake.
No, but if you can play on Martinez, even if you've got just the tiniest little point, then
they'll love
fans
winding him
aren't
up,
going to miss that. Absolutely. Villa with a free kick to the edge of the area, cleared away, Camara, and now here's Cash round the outside. They get a fortunate break of the ball. Rodgers is into this tackle. Trossard goes down, tries to win the free kick. The ball bounces away off the Arsenal man, and it's a corner to Villa, their first of the match.
To be honest, they look as if they could be dangerous. Obviously, Tyrone Mings is dangerous at corners as well. They want to go and attack something like this, but they've had so few opportunities. And now that they're 2-0 down, and they've not made any attack-minded changes, that's the thing. They've made 2 changes in the game so far, but none of them have been forward-thinking ones.
Corner then, Tielemans to take this for Villa. Then at the end where all the Villa fans are. Tielemans towards the penalty spot. It hits Mings but bounces away to the edge of the area and actually sets Arsenal off on a counter-attack. And Martinelli is running downfield. He's over the halfway line. Digne is able to slow his progress, but the Arsenal man still in possession. And now Villa have been able to get men back. Partey's there, but Martinelli still going with the ball. And then eventually Camara puts in the challenge, but Partey is able to collect it, but then passes it straight back to Villa.
Yeah. Just that moment there where he's 1-on-1 there. Had that been Maatsen still on, I bet you Martinelli wouldn't have stopped then. And for the player that you played against that you were getting by earlier on, and also he's on a yellow card, you'd have taken him on. But because it was Digne, Martinelli stopped better of it.
Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 0. And yes, lines open for 606 with Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike. 08085 909 693 to book your call. Hashtag BBC 606. Text 85058. And I'm sure many Bournemouth fans might still be on the journey back. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. It's the classic at the moment. I think I heard one of the Bournemouth fans. Ball cross from the left hand side. It's hit Marino and it's gone into his own net. It's an own goal. The cross from the left-hand side, and Villa, rather surprisingly, are back in the game. Well, that's a shock. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1.
Well, rather surprisingly, you just did not see it coming. I was looking down just a moment before at Arteta and thought, do you know what? He looks absolutely calm and comfortable just now. Well, he won't now. By the way, I agreed with you. I thought it was an own goal.
I think it is.
It's not. I think Tielemans gets his head on it.
Does he?
Yeah, I think he does. I was convinced that was an own goal. Totally convinced.
Tielemans head down. I think that's the goal. It's Marino.
We've seen it 3 times and it's so hard to call. It doesn't matter. It's 2-1 now. Game on. And I'm looking at the Villa defence now. Did they want to try something new?
2-1 as Trossard crosses from the left. But it comes off a Villa head, bounces to Partey. Partey gets it down on the right side. Partey's crossed towards the back post. Rodgers got his head to it for Villa, and Tielemans is able to play it away. Certainly Tielemans sprinted into the net, picked up the ball and ran away with it. But my suspicion is that came off the toe end of Marino. But we'll see. As Villa break forward, Ramsey, Villa might pull level here as it bounces to Tielemans, who shoots wide from the edge of the box.
It hits the post
onto it, and he's saying that it actually took a deflection off the Arsenal player who threw himself in front of it. I think
it hits the post as well. It might have got a deflection, but it just hits the outside of the post. That's come so close. And to be honest, it's looked nothing like that. Not sure it was a corner kick. It's gone through the legs of, I think it's Marino. Maybe the tiniest touch off the back of his heel there. But boy, we have got a game on our hands now.
Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1. Well, I noticed on the BBC website they say Tielemans the goal scorer.
And I
That's
think
what the Premier League say.
Yes, I think you're right to wait. I think you're absolutely right to wait. Both of them went for it at the same time. It happened very, very quickly. But there's one angle which we have just seen that makes it look very, very like the header from Tielemans as opposed to the own goal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's the angle from the 18-yard line. The 18-yard line, low angle, and it looks like a clean header. But you know what it's like with these camera angles. One thing tells you one, and another tells you another.
Yeah, you've convinced me, Pat. So Tielemans scoring the goal. That will be his second of the season, his first in the Premier League this season. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1, and the game has changed. Arsenal, who have the best defensive record in the Premier League this season, coming into this round of matches, that's the 20th they've conceded. And the Premier League are saying it is Tielemans' goal with the header.
Yeah, just some silliness going on there. The young Lewis Skelly's gone down there, and absolutely nothing wrong. We rolled about and was laughing while he was rolling about. See, if you're pretending to injure, try not to laugh at the same time. Oh, wait a second, here we go. Yellow card's out. Who's going to get it this time?
Unai Emery looks as though and Unai Emery actually points to his own chest with both hands, and the fourth official is there as well, John Busby, standing next to him, and Unai Emery is now leaning into him. He's leaning over him and saying, what is it that I've done? And he taps him on the shoulder and points at his chest again.
I'll tell you what you've done. You've got yourself a ban against West Ham. I believe.
Okay, that's Aston Villa's next match. Is in the Premier League, is at home to West Ham next weekend on the Sunday. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1. Coverage of all of the various European matches coming up this week. Tuesday night, as we've said, Monaco against Aston Villa. It's a double bill of commentary on 5 Live Tuesday night, live from Monaco and live from Anfield. Liverpool against Lille. Liverpool top of the Champions League group. And then Wednesday night, Paris Saint-Germain against Manchester City, live from the Parc des Princes. And then Thursday night, live from Old Trafford, Manchester United against Rangers in the Europa League. But this Saturday evening, it's the Premier League. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1, and Arsenal back in a battle, but putting pressure on the Villa defence, and Odegaard is able to win a corner for Arsenal from the right.
But it's not relaxed in any way at all. You thought 2-0 up. Very few teams come back from that with Arsenal. But you know there are dangers from Aston Villa. You know that there are late changes they can make as well. The players that can bring on have got pace, that can score goals, and also Watkins is always a danger on the break. So there's no relaxation here yet for the Gunners.
No, and actually to have gone 2-0 up and then to be pegged back so quickly, and at the time 2-0 felt as though that was going to be a winning lead, and suddenly they've got to think again. Corner though to Arsenal. Odegaard plays it into the 6-yard box. Martinez comes, but that was headed away by Watkins, still in the Villa penalty area. Gabriel back to Trossard, went for the volley, blocked inside the area. Trossard still battling for it, comes out to Gabriel, scoops it forward, then the shot on the volley from Martinelli from an angle that blazed it wide of the near post.
Again, it's one of those ones where yes, it's coming down from an angle, but you still kind of want to get that one on target. Just come off the side of his foot.
25 minutes to play, and Villa take a short goal kick out, which is hit long eventually up towards Watkins against Gabriel, but Arsenal are able to tidy up with Timber. Back to David Raya, long pass for him, for Havertz to chase. Mings heads it down. It's played back by Digne to Mings, away from Mings, forward from Partey, away from Mings again on his left foot. Marino chasing after that. He's got there ahead of Jacob Ramsey. Applause for the Arsenal midfielder, the Spaniard. Partey gets it back again. He scoops it forward for Havertz. who was onside, no flag yet. Havertz then turns and crosses it into defender Mings, and it bounces away off him into the hoardings for another Arsenal corner.
Yep, and he walks over there. Odegaard gives him a low five because Havertz, he wanted the corner there. He played for the corner there. He didn't actually want anything else because he knows how dangerous Arsenal can be in that situation. And for once, Odegaard's not got Gabriel running over to him. He's got Havertz coming over for the information.
Yeah,
we'll see if Havertz gives all that information inside. He's walking away from everyone else. I suspect they'll get the ball in the middle and attack it.
Odegaard willing to take this then on this cold Saturday evening at the Emirates. Odegaard, left-footed, swirls it in to the back post, headed away by Rodgers. Comes out to Trossard. He hits a shot that bounces. Was blocked, actually hit Martinelli. Martinelli, though, with the pace that it was hit, wasn't able to control it. It's run away by Watkins over the halfway line, and then Trossard upends him as Watkins was breaking 10 yards inside the Arsenal half, and that's a yellow card for Trossard. That was an uncomplicated challenge.
Yeah, to be honest, he's a hard man to chase down. He's chased him all the way there. But, you know, at that point in time, I don't think it was going anywhere. There was a defender beside Trossard. And it's one of those yellow cards that, although he chased back, and although the Arsenal fans are proud of him for doing it, I think that's a silly yellow card. And remember, I've watched Trossard before getting a silly yellow card that led to another. Was it Manchester City?
Correct. Free kick then for Villa. Over there on the far side, the floodlights of the Emirates beaming down on him as this free kick is taken by Tielemans to the edge of the Arsenal penalty area, where it was headed away by Marino, and then in, left-footed by Cash to the back post and in from Watkins. They've come from 2-0 down to make it 2-2. Super finish, super ball in by Cash. But Ollie Watkins, corner of the 6-yard box, hit it into the roof of Raya's net. And shock here at the Emirates. It looked like Arsenal might be coasting to 3 points. But it's all square. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2, and their bogey team are at it again.
And there's nothing complicated about that. It's just a ball lumped in from an area, not even from the byline, nothing like that. And it's Havertz is at the back post. He's challenged, it just goes over his head. It is a lovely finish by Watkins. I'll tell you something about Watkins. Watkins was just, I think, about to be substituted right then and there. He was going off the park, and I think it was John Duran who was coming on. He's just roofed that one, and I don't think he'll take him off now, do you? I think he might let him stay on for a wee bit longer.
2 goals in 8 minutes for Aston Villa to shock Arsenal. Second place in the Premier League, but the Liverpool fans heading back north from Brentford will be enjoying this.
It's very Premier League, isn't it? You think you know what's going on in the game. Liverpool looked as if they'd slipped up, and Arsenal get a great chance, and that's all changes in the last minutes.
Havertz now down the left. It feels like Arsenal have already won this match once. Now they've got to go and win it again. Cash has stayed down here after Havertz ran away from him, but he's now back on his feet, and the ball's played forward to Watkins, who must be in an offside position. He was so far offside that the flag went up immediately.
Is that allowed? It was so far offside. But that Duran thing's really interesting, because Duran gets quite miffed, doesn't he, if things don't go his way.
Well,
and he was just about to walk on the pitch. Okay. Had always kept off, he was all ready, the numbers are ready. Watkins scores a goal, and then he's told to sit down again. I don't think he'll be very happy.
Stoppage in play while the referee comes and has a look at Cash, who I think might need some treatment. He might have cut his hand, or possibly even maybe, I don't know, dislocated a finger or something like that.
It's funny the way he's looking there. The way he put his hand up towards his face, I wonder.
No, there is. It's blood, isn't it?
Blood
they've got a big tissue, and they're sponging his mouth. That'll take a moment or two. In the Women's Super League, still Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. Villa scored just before half time. Is it still Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1, in the Scottish Cup in Glasgow, Gavin Wallace.
It is, John, yes. 12 was the goal from Callum McGregor, 45 plus 1 from Bobby Wales. Celtic squandering chances. They're giving up a lot of space at the moment, deep inside their own half, just in behind Greg Taylor. Kyogo was one-on-one and skied it there. Who knows how this could go as Kilmarnock are really pushing. Celtic 1, Kelly 1.
And Leinster are now in front against Bath in the Champions Cup. Leinster 26, Bath 21. Still the stoppage goes on here, so let me just point out, in case you haven't heard it, the Draper-Alcaraz match at the Australian Open tennis is going to start around about 4:30 in the morning, so there will be coverage on 5 Live, live from Melbourne during the night, and of course you'll hear all about it in breakfast, weekend breakfast with Jeanette Quachi and Gordon Smart between 7 and 10. Might still be going on there. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. A match that has turned out to be full of surprises. Villa with 10 men because Cash is still off the field. Ball curled forward into the penalty area by Trossard, but all the way it bounces through to Martinez.
I'll tell you what, at 2-0, I really was thinking to myself, Unai Emery's left it too long. You know, he's left it, he should have changed it, they weren't creating enough. You're 2-0 down. There are players like Duran, etc., and Bailey on the bench. Maybe should have gone for them. And then 10 minutes later, that's why he's the manager of Aston Villa and I'm not.
Well, yeah, manager of Arsenal for 18 months, wasn't he? He had the difficult job of stepping into the big shoes of Arsene Wenger, and the ball bounces off the field to Unai Emery, who waits and waits, and eventually, almost as if to say to the referee, is it all right for me to pick it up now? and then does pick it up, and then rather overreacts when he has picked it up, because he's received his 3rd yellow card of the season, and therefore will have that touchline ban next weekend.
To be fair, they seemed very, very mild. Both of those yellow cards seemed very mild.
They did. I'd agree with that. 2-2. Arsenal led 2-0. So with this scoreline, Liverpool would have a 6-point lead tonight at the top of the table. Here's Havertz. Nottingham Forest playing tomorrow. Nottingham Forest could go level on points with Arsenal with this scoreline.
Well, just now you look at it, and Arsenal, you know that they must go for 3 points. You know they must take a few chances now. They push it towards the end of the game, which in some ways goes straight into Aston Villa's game plan, because they love playing in the break with the pace that they've got.
And we are now in the last 20 minutes. Arsenal, Odegaard back to Rice to Lewis Skelly, and now to the left hand side to Trossard, and Trossard up against Rodgers, beats him, then plays it infield to Rice, right foot shot, not far wide. Martinez leaping to his left, but it didn't have the bend, not enough bend, and it was beyond the top corner.
Getting a little bit of space there for Rice. I don't think the keeper would have been getting to it had it curled a little bit more. Lovely action on that as well there from Rice. But once again, Trossard, he gets the ball, he's not got Cash up against him, he's actually got the winger coming all the way back, Rodgers, all the way back to Markham. And that's a real problem if you're Villa, because you want Rodgers to get up there near the striker now and again. But, you know, he's playing so well, Trossard, that he's dragging players close to him defensively.
Trossard is dragging a challenge out of Cash, goes down. Tielemans and Cash wins the free kick. Rice takes it quickly as there's another free kick given Arsenal's way for a little foul by Rodgers. Lewis Skelly is... Watkins gets in his way, and Lewis Skelly looks at the referee, but referee Kavanagh says, no, come on, get it taken, which they do. No messing about from Arsenal here, no wasting of time in this position, as Timber turns away from Watkins and plays it forward to Odegaard. Villa without Saliba, conceding those 2 goals. The other match in which Saliba didn't start this season when he was suspended, that finished 2-2 here against Liverpool, as Camara wins the ball back crucially for Villa inside his box. That's a lovely turn from Tielemans. Took 2 men out of the game, Marino and Rice, and then passes into the space on the right hand side, and Cash could be in business again, running at Lewis Skelly, who got a foot on that, and then down on the edge of the penalty area. Well, That was desperation, I have to say, from Tielemans to try and win a free kick. He actually conceded the free kick. Arsenal took it quickly. They're off downfield. Trossard goes forced back by substitute Bogard, and now Havertz on the left-hand side. Rodgers coming in with the challenge. The touch was heavy from Havertz. That gave Rodgers the chance, and Rodgers took it and wins the throw-in.
It's such a shame. I was looking forward to seeing a lot of players today, and one of them was Rodgers. Start of the season, he's been absolutely brilliant, but always in the forward third. Tonight, he's actually played mostly right back, hasn't he? I mean, sometimes as a wide player, you've got to give yourself up for the team, but it's a real shame not to see the positive aspects of his game.
Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Less than 15 minutes to go. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693. Aston Villa did serious damage to Arsenal's title hopes last season. They might be doing more damage here today.
The question remains, I mean, if you're Arsenal, you maybe want to look to your bench and say, what can we do to freshen it up, to make the attacking look a little bit stronger? And then you look at their bench. It's pretty limited, isn't it? That can bring in somebody special that can change it. I mean, you would sometimes think of Raheem Sterling, but had you been here on Wednesday night, that's not something you would do with a light heart.
Rice, back to Timber. Now over there to the right-hand side, to Odegaard. Through the middle, right. I think Rice was caught late there by camera. He was, and he felt that. Declan Rice immediately fell down onto his back. I think he's okay.
I think he slightly overextended it as much as get hit. There was a slight overextension of his knee.
Yellow card though.
Again, a little bit harsh. I mean, he's not been bad, the referee, today. Let's be fair about it. And he's let it flow most of the time. You see it in slow motion. He has scraped down his ankle. Another one of those ones that looks terrible in slow motion.
That's Pat Nevin. This is 5 Live from the BBC. All of the matches tomorrow, by the way, the Premier League matches, you'll be able to hear with us on 5 Live or Sports Extra, or via the website. The Nottingham Forest Southampton game is on the website. Everton Tottenham Sports Extra. Manchester United Brighton here on 5 Live at 2. Ipswich Manchester City at 4:30. Going to Portman Road tomorrow, Pat. First time for years.
That's not been there for a long time.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Free kick then. Rice curls it in. Gabriel got his head to it. I think possibly Havertz might have got in his way, and in any case the offside flag was up, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa.
I don't think I've been at Portman Road since I played there.
No.
I think it could be that long. Incredible. But it's buzzing at the moment, isn't it? Really bouncing at the moment.
Yeah.
So Alistair Bruce Ball tells me.
Yes, he does. Mark Schwartz is with me tomorrow, who I know has been there plenty of times this season. Villa take this free kick. Back to Martinez it goes. And he clears it towards the halfway line. Be a good point for Villa, this. Continue their unbeaten run. As I say, they're at home to West Ham on next weekend. And John Duran, the top scorer, is going to come on. Is it going to be Watkins who he's going to replace?
I'd be amazed if it was anyone else.
It is Ollie Watkins.
Not because Watkins has done anything wrong, it's because if you leave both of those centre forwards on, that is one big old statement you would be making just now, as in you're going to go for the 3 points more than just the 1 point away from home at Arsenal.
So Ollie Watkins comes off. He's reached double figures for the season tonight. Ollie Watkins, that was his 10th goal, superbly taken as well from the Cash long pass from the right hand side over the Arsenal defence. So he's off, and John Duran is on, having not played in the last 4 matches. He had the suspension and then didn't play in the game during the week because he was an unused substitute. So Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Villa just struggling to get the ball away on the edge of their own penalty area. In fact, Arsenal win it back, Partey. Odegaard tries to give it back, but overhits the ball and it's through for a goal kick. So back to Glasgow because Gavin Wallace.
Celtic are 2-1 up, John. Daisen Maeda with the goal on 70. The ball came over to the left-hand side. The Japanese frontman had loads of space inside that 18-yard box, opened his body and slotted home. And Derek McInnes has been booked for his protestations and a foul in the build-up. Celtic 2, Kelly 1.
Well, back at the Emirates, you said a few moments ago, Pat, that Mikel Arteta would have to think very deeply about bringing Raheem Sterling on, but he's thought about it and he's going to.
And can you hear the rumble in the background?
A couple of whistles.
I have to say there are a lot of fans that are just not having Raheem at all just now.
Marino wins it back though for Arsenal. Marino plays it in, but not over the top of Mings, who was able to get his head to it. Then away by Bogard, but only out to Trossard. Oh, lovely turn from Trossard onto his left foot, but then overhits the ball across. It's over everyone, and it bounces out into the Villa left back area, where Digne allows it to bounce, looks at it very carefully, and plants it out of play near the halfway line for a throw.
Well, I'm so intrigued when we hear the noise and when Raheem Sterling comes on here, the reaction. The fans should give him a good reception, even if they don't like him, just to try and lift them. They need every player in red and white on their side now.
Trossard back on it again on the left hand side. Trossard, who's already set up both Arsenal goals, hasn't he, in this match? Then Lewis Skelly, square from him, Rice in the middle. Rice thought about the shot, instead gives it to Partey on the right hand side. Then Marino again, Marino back to Declan Rice. Villa have got everyone apart from Duran behind the ball over the top for Partey, angles it back, Odegaard with a shot, but that's blocked inside the penalty area. Villa had two men in the way of that, and then a turn from Tielemans. He's in danger of losing it, however he's been fouled, and it's a free kick to Villa on the edge of their own penalty area. It is 2-2. This is music to the ears of Liverpool supporters wherever they're listening. Liverpool, it looked like they were going to drop points. 2 goals in added time at Brentford. They won the match. Here it looked like Arsenal were going to win this one, 2-0 up in the 55th minute, and now it's 2-2 and a mixed reaction as Sterling runs onto the field. Pat,
you know, the reaction was a little roar, no more than that, as if to say, right, okay, one of us, you're on now, but you better impress. It was really painful to watch what happened to Raheem Sterling the other night, because he actually had a good start to the game, but he didn't go by anyone, and then suddenly it just turned, particularly by him on the right hand side. So a lot of pressure on the young, I was going to say young, not quite so young anymore, but you know, if Raheem Sterling could score or make a goal now that got Arsenal these important points, that might make a huge difference in the future of his career here.
In the Champions Cup, Leinster stretching their lead now. Leinster 33, Bath 21, and Harlequins Glasgow is on Sports Extra tonight. So while the phone in 606 is on 5 Live, Harlequins Glasgow is your choice of listening on Sports Extra from 8 o'clock kickoff, but they'll be on the air at 7:55. Lines open 08 085 909 693, hashtag BBC 606, text 85058, and the highlights on Match of the Day tonight on BBC One, or indeed anytime on the iPlayer after all of the chat about Match of the Day this week. Rice plays it forward but slips over as he does so Digne is able to head that away 7 or 8 yards outside of his own penalty area. Here is Sterling into the action for the first time, takes on Digne, beats him, then plays it through for Odegaard, but Mings is able to move across and just shepherd it behind for a goal kick.
That's all you need to do, Raheem. That's all you need to do. Show a willingness to go by players, because that's what the Arsenal fans were fed up about. You were getting the ball, you were going simple, going back all the time, not trying to take players on. This time, immediately translate a 1-2. Not a bad little play in the end, and the reaction was good.
Another Villa change. Leon Bailey coming on to replace
Ramsey, maybe.
Jacob Ramsey. Yep. Leon Bailey scored here last season when Villa actually scored 2 late goals in that match to win it by 2-0 in April.
There was a period, John, when Bailey looked absolutely unstoppable last season. It's been very up and down. I mean, players can get confidence, injury problems, whatever, but at his best he can cause anybody any problems. Be an interesting battle between him and Lewis Skelly.
1 goal in 24 appearances for Villa this season, Leon Bailey. And I'm like you, Pat, at times last season he was absolute dynamite.
He was. I mean, his assists were brilliant. It was basically every team played against him had to play 2 players against him, and that made space for everybody else.
So Bailey on the right hand side, and Rodgers has now gone onto the other side. Rodgers is over on the left. It's Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Feels like these are quite big moments, even though we're still in January. Liverpool would be stretching their lead at the top. Arsenal in possession. Playing it through the middle to Havertz, who's dropped all the way deep to receive that from Gabriel. Now Timber. And Raheem Sterling also comes deeper. Sterling, a couple of touches. Rodgers comes close, so Sterling passes the ball back into his own half. Odegaard on the right-hand side. Partey now to Havertz. Sterling is there, keeps the ball in, plays it infield to Partey. And then the pass infield into the path of Odegaard, who goes tumbling down. Camera with the challenge. Referee says no free kick. Arsenal fans and some of the players don't like that. Villa breaking forward with Rodgers. Rodgers now carrying it and playing it to the right. Bailey into the action. Arsenal trying to get men back. Bailey then to the edge of the area. The low shot from Bogard, and Raya very nearly juggled that. It was a low shot. He went down to his left. For a moment there I thought it might slip under his body, but he was able to parry it.
Well, the way that build-up was happening, you knew it was going to end up with a shot on target. Slightly surprised he went right instead of left. With the goal-scoring abilities of John Duran, you almost think, get the ball to him and let him see what he can do. He scored so many brilliant late goals as a substitute. Really surprised he went right instead of left.
This has become compelling, Pat.
It is.
I'm shifting around on our kitchen stools here. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Partey now over there to Odegaard. Comes in field. Liverpool got their 2 late goals. Arsenal trying to dig themselves out of this 2-2 position. Trossard now on the left. Trossard plays it infield. Rice has 2 men coming. Camara and Duran still going. Rice strong from Declan Rice to the byline. Left-footed cross. It's over the top of Havertz. Bounces out to the edge of the area. Marino with a shot. Deflected in. Arsenal are back in front. Big deflection. Arsenal don't care about that. 3-2 it is now, with 3 minutes to play.
Well, phenomenal play down the left-hand side. And you do say to the teams that are going to win leagues, do what Liverpool did today. They fight right until the last seconds and get the points that weren't expected. And somehow, out of absolutely nowhere, they've managed to do it. The ball comes out there and he hits it into the ground first. And it's hit.
It hits Havertz. It actually hits the body of Havertz, which deflects it past Martinez and into the back of the Villa net. And that's Havertz's goal.
Definitely Havertz's goal. It didn't look like it. It looked like it had come off a defender. But it's off Havertz. Did it come off what part of his body? Was it his hand?
Oh, that's the question.
I think it might have been his hand. It's a tough one to call. That's not going to count. It's not going to count. I think that's his hand. I really do.
Well, this is a tough one for VAR here. The referee is going to come and have a look. He's going to go. He's ruled it out. He's ruled it out.
It's definitely a hand. There's complaints down in the Arsenal bench. No point complaining. You're not allowed to score with your hand. It's not deliberate, but you're not allowed to score with your hand. It's a shame that, because I don't think it would have gone in. Keeper would have probably got to that there. And it's a clear hit of the underarm.
Yeah, the arms are tucked into the body. The Villa fans are celebrating in the corner. So we're back to Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. The Havertz goal ruled out for offside, for handball, after Marino's shot from the edge of the area struck the body. The arms were all together, and the video assistant referee has deemed that it was handball. So it's still 2-2, and now we have just a minute left of the 90. Liverpool fans, never mind Aston Villa fans celebrating, the Liverpool fans will also be cheering this. Here's Sterling on the right-hand side. Sterling trying to find a way through. Little ball to the edge of the penalty area, very congested. Camera for Villa is able to put in the challenge. Bounces back for Odegaard on the edge of the box, then cleared away by Mings. But it's taken down by Timber in the centre circle. Going to see the fourth official coming forward any moment now. Only 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play.
It's got to be at least 5. Surely it's got to be at least 5.
Partey. Back to Sterling. The early signs from Sterling have been positive. Now to Partey. Back to Sterling again. Sterling, though, quickly closed down by Tielemans. Partey has to play it back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice still over there on the right-hand side. Partey. Villa have got everyone parked on the edge of their own penalty area. Sterling, back to Partey again. Then infield towards Declan Rice. And now back towards the centre circle. 7 minutes of added time. Trossard now left side of the box. Odegaard's after it. Then Marino hits the post. Still in the area. Trossard's shot saved by the legs of Martinez and blocked behind. They hit the post. Martinez makes the save. It's still 2-2.
Again, mayhem, chaos in there. That's what Arsenal want there. Lovely play across there. Then every single Arsenal player is trying to get inside that box there. Well done. Sterling was part of it as well. Goalkeeper though, he was superb on 2 occasions there, but the post was still needed.
Arsenal are throwing everything at Villa here. They've had the ball in the net. Havertz's goal ruled out for handball. Now they hit the post. Martinez makes the save. Here's the latest corner. Rice into the back post. It deflects behind off an Arsenal body, Marino. And it's a goal kick. So we're into 7 minutes of added time. It's 2-2. With this scoreline, Liverpool will have a 6-point lead tonight. And Arsenal will have played one match more.
Exactly, which is, I mean, it is a lot, but it's not insurmountable, as we saw. That could have changed hugely today with what's happened late in these 2 games. And just a moment ago, actually, we haven't said it, but in the build-up to the goal that never was there, the play by Declan Rice down the left-hand side was absolutely magnificent. He's been such a leader, again, in the middle of that pitch for Arsenal.
Villa, we shouldn't forget, haven't ruled out perhaps snatching a goal of their own, because Arsenal are absolutely going for this. So that does give Villa the possibilities. John Duran now on the field, and actually Konsa brings it away from his own penalty area. Rodgers over the top towards Duran. Timber's chasing him, but the ball is bouncing across from right to left. He uses Tielemans. Kamara is there. Kamara is able to stab it back to Digne. Now Bogard to Tielemans. Tielemans hits a low shot that Raya goes down. It was going wide. Just wondered whether he got a touch on that, Raya, but it's given us a goal kick.
I think he might have just thrown his hand over the top of it, knowing that it was going wide in the end. They have to get the ball up the field there. They can't launch it long. They've got to play all the way through it here. Or is Raya going to launch it long?
I must say, when it came to Tielemans there, I had flashbacks to that goal that he scored in the FA Cup final on his right foot. Sort of 25 yards out, but hit it low, sort of mishit it actually.
I'm still in shock, John, that John Duran got the ball on the left-hand side and it didn't end up in a shot. He actually passed the ball. That comes as a great shock to me.
6:06 coming. 085 909 693 to talk to Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike tonight. But Arsenal have 4 minutes now of added time. Odegaard, middle of the Villa half. Lewis Skelly, he was caught late there as he passed it out towards Partey on the right hand side. He's okay, Lewis Skelly. Comes back to Sterling. Raheem Sterling now. Rice makes the run into the box, but Sterling actually goes back to Odegaard, who is just a few yards away from him. Still all on the right hand side. Odegaard infield towards Sterling, tries to get it back to Odegaard, then all the way back towards Gabriel, just forward of the centre circle. Rice makes himself available. Gabriel passes it round Duran, then Rice to Partey, then Sterling. Again, Rice makes a run. Sterling comes infield, and then Sterling loses it and gives it to Duran, and then Sterling fouls Duran as he was trying to break away. And that's a yellow card for Raheem Sterling, and you can hear the reaction there. I mean, one poor touch there from Sterling.
It's almost impossible for Raheem Sterling. I've watched him very closely since he came on, and he didn't want to take any. He took a couple of chances early on, it worked okay, and then he didn't take chances, and then he knew he couldn't make a mistake. This time he tried to take a chance, he tried to go past the player, lost it, and he's lost the crowd. It's really tough out there for him.
Yeah. During 6:06 we'll bring you the live interviews from down in the tunnel area as well, from the Arsenal and Aston Villa camps. Unai Emery, I mean, it did look for all the world when Arsenal went 2-0 up with the goals from Martinelli and Havertz that 3 points for the home side was most likely, but Tielemans and Watkins with the goals to drag it back to 2-2. And here we are now, deep in added time. Rodgers, the ball is halfway inside the Arsenal half. Rodgers battling with Partey. Referee Kavanagh says it's bounced out for a throw to...
Well, it's a free kick. He's given a free kick.
Yeah. And Rodgers is booked. And a little earlier, he might have been booked actually before now, Rodgers. But I think he's been yellow carded for something he said. Free kick taken quickly by Arsenal. Odegaard now Partey. Arsenal quickly downfield. Square from Odegaard to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly angles it through. What a pass! Trossard in the area, shoots across the face of goal and wide. And in any case, the flag was up and Trossard would have been offside.
A lovely little ball through there. He was probably half a yard offside there. The angle wasn't good either, and you've got to see the keeper comes out really quickly. We're having a look at it here. Yeah, probably just leaning offside, but he didn't get it on target in any case. But it's been a brilliant last 10 minutes or so, hasn't it? You know, the goal that was knocked off correctly, so it has to be said. They hit the post, as you mentioned as well. Half chances at both ends. It's been pulsating these last few minutes.
Just over a minute to go. It looks like Arsenal are going to drop more points. Arsenal 2, Villa 2. When at one stage, almost an hour played, you know, you would have had a strong conviction that Arsenal were going to win this 2-0 up. As Arsenal win a free kick near the edge of the area. Camara has kicked the ball away, but he's saying he was just giving it back to Arsenal. However, Raya's going to take this free kick now, which he does. This will be the last attack, I think. Gabriel just runs it forward, puts his foot on the ball, plays it to the right. Odegaard is there, the Arsenal captain now, quickly forward to Sterling. Sterling is under pressure from Digne. Back to Odegaard. Arsenal are going to have to get it into the penalty area. Merino back to Sterling on the right hand side. Sterling goes past Digne and is fouled. It's a free kick to Arsenal. There will be time, 20 seconds left for Arsenal to take this free kick.
And probably the most dangerous area that Arsenal have had a free kick in this game. I mean, Odegaard can usually put on a sixpence from there. It's about 16 yards out, but very, very wide. But an unusual place to get a free kick, and one that you wouldn't have practiced defending too much. Arsenal, well, they will love this. What an end to the game this could be.
What a day in the Premier League it would be were Liverpool to have won it late, and now were Arsenal to win it late. But it's got to be now. There'll be no more time after this. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Great Premier League drama on 5 Live from the BBC, watching Martin Odegaard wait to take this free kick. Lots of movement in from Odegaard underneath the crossbar. Martinez makes the catch. That's secure. It's in the Villa goalkeeper's hands, and there is the final whistle, and Arsenal are held by Aston Villa, the team, Unai Emery's team, that did serious damage to Arsenal's title hopes last season, have now taken points off them here at the Emirates. All square, 2-2 after Arsenal were 2-0 up with almost an hour played.
Well, I suppose everyone is going to say it, they threw it away. If you got a 2-0 lead at home, you should be able to hold on and you should be able to win the 3 points. I'm sure Mikel Arteta will say the same thing as well, but this is very much what Aston Villa do, isn't it? You know, they can play brilliantly on the break. When they did break, they looked incredibly dangerous, and you got to get lucky as well sometimes. Watkins was coming off the field. He was being substituted, but the ball didn't go out. And by the time it got go out, where it went out was in the back of the net because Watkins had scored. So you got to get lucky sometimes as a team and as a manager as well. The one big takeaway from the entire match for me, for Arsenal, as title contenders is you needed to bring something on now. You needed to change something late on. You needed to have some more attacking strength. Another question up front. They haven't. And they haven't had that for a long, long time. And eventually, everyone should. I'm sure the phone calls in 606 will be exactly the same as well. Why ain't they got a centre forward?
Yeah, but you know, Pat, obviously Saka, they've lost Saka, Gabriel Jesus with his knee injury, Waneri on the injured list as well, the promising teenager.
But you've never had a clear-cut centre forward, really. I mean, you're using Havertz, who's not a natural centre forward. Jesus, who's never looked as if he would be the man that's going to lead to winning the league. You know, it's not going to be that. A lot of people have been saying it for a long time. And in a game like this, and big points and big moments like this, you need something to bring on that's going to be different, that's going to change it. I'm looking at John Duran coming on for Aston Villa. They can bring someone like him on. They've just brought Matlin. He's another attack-minded, very, very much a striker kind of player as well. Aston Villa can go to that. At the moment, Arsenal can't. And all you hear just now is suggestions that they're buying another midfielder. Just not sure that's the direction they have to go if they're going to be serious challengers to Liverpool.
Yeah, super point though for Aston Villa. That's 5 matches unbeaten now for them. So we know that it's finished Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2 here in the Premier League. What about the Scottish Cup? Celtic Kilmarnock. Are you still playing, Gavin Wallace?
Yes, John, we are. We've got about 3 minutes of added time played. It's still 2-1 to Celtic. The ball has been put in the back of the net by Dyson Maeder. There is a lengthy VAR check. Everyone on tenterhooks. Celtic could go up 3-1 here. They've had to work for it. But at the moment, it's Celtic 2, Killie 1.
So still playing. You'll get the news on that with Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike. So 6:06 coming up after the news. But the line's open now. 08085 909 693. They are waiting for your calls. The big call here, Pat, though, the goal that was disallowed. Yeah. For striking the body and the arm of Kai Havertz.
Right, well, we have got, let's own up right away. We have got a screen in front of us here. And from certainly position behind the goal, clear as day, he's handled it. From just about every other position, clear of day, it's hit his hand and it's gone in. There's one position where it actually looks as if it may have hit his hip, the top of his hip. But they've had a good look at they've got more angles than we have got. And I suspect there wasn't a big argument from Kai Havertz at the end of it, and that's why I'm 99% sure they got the right decision. And it's a real shame really for Arsenal. They were the better side, they did create that, they did show the character to come back into those situations, but like most of the rest of the teams, there are 1 or 2 problems. The biggest problem they've got is Liverpool haven't got that many weaknesses, and when they need to make changes, they've got plenty they can make, and it's all about a team being able to challenge them, and I think every team that's challenging them just now probably has to strengthen to get closer.
Yeah, well, you can judge for yourself, you can make your own mind up if you see it, and certainly on Match of the Day tonight when the highlights will be on BBC One or anytime on the iPlayer. So the top of the table, Pat, Liverpool played 21, 50 points. Arsenal played 22, 44 points, and tomorrow Nottingham Forest at home to Southampton can go level on points with Arsenal. Pat Nevin, thanks very much for your company. Good luck and safe travels to Monaco this week
and to Paris
with us.
For you, John.
Thank you very much. You'll hear those commentaries on Tuesday and Wednesday night. But tomorrow we will have commentary on Manchester United Brighton from 2 o'clock on 5 Live, when Everton Tottenham is on Sports Extra, and Nottingham Forest Southampton can be listened to via the BBC Sport website and app. And then back on 5 Live at 4:30, Ipswich Manchester City is the commentary match. So that is all on 5 Live Premier League Sunday with Steve Crossman tomorrow, when we'll have all of the top sport covered for you. And let me again point you towards the Draper Alcaraz match at the Australian Open, which will be starting round about 4:30 in the early hours on 5 Live. And also Colin Murray, of course, on the air tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, featuring the great football songbook, when the subject of that will be Crystal Palace at 10:30. That is always worth listening to. But as I say, lines open 08085 909 693 to talk to Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike, and they will be along on 5 Live after the news with Jill McKenzie.